there's stealth pricing all over Vegas, and it's been going up and up and up, and has been a primary driver, if not the most important driver of revenues overall. Now, you can look at it from the gaming side. The hold percentages have been going up and up and up, and that's fine as long as you can keep doing that. A lot of that is slot mix, and then on the table side, it's actually changing odds. You know, so if you go to MGM Springfield, actually, they're using the Vegas method now, 6-5 odds on a blackjack payout, where it's almost always been 3-2. Foxwoods and Mohegans are 3-2, but Vegas, it's pretty much 6-5. That's one way to increase the hold percentage. There's been some side betting and some craps odds changed. And so actually you've had some, I guess, newer type games, poker variation games that appeal to the millennials. They're called house games because there's a significant advantage to the house on those games. So that's one way that pricing has gone up. That's not exactly obvious when you book your hotel. The other is resort fee, of course. So we still say the only deal in Vegas is a midweek published ADR, and then when you top that with the resort fee and a lot of other things, it ceases to become much of a deal. Menu prices are through the ceiling. It's very obvious if you go to a nice restaurant. You can even look at the wine and figure out what the markup is on your favorite wine. Just quickly go to the wine section, and it's pretty apparent that it's much more than you'd say if you even find in New York or a bigger market like that. But there's other areas too, which we covered in that deck. So we're going to revisit some of those. But what you're seeing is, pricing, we think, has kept the marginal visitor away from Vegas. So even before the shooting, we saw negative visitation trends. Even when the convention calendar is up or flat to up, you're still seeing negative visitation, and we ascribe that to really being a pricing issue. If we go to the next slide, let's get into some of the data here. Slide 13. Here's back to the table games. So you can see the increase in hold percentage for slots, really ramped up, and now is coming still elevated, but you're just not seeing it grow anymore, right? So that was a huge tailwind in terms of revenues. Volumes not very strong, but the casinos were holding higher because of the mix of slot games and maybe a few tighter machines on the casino floor. We just don't think that tailwind is going to be as big going forward. Unless, look, I'm all in favor of companies raising prices if they can, but now it looks like it's really starting to hit demand. On the table side, you're actually looking at, a negative turn in table hold, which I don't think is necessarily, sustainable or attributable to anything specific, but I think you're going to see pretty flattish, table trends. Where are they going to go to 5-6 on the blackjack hit? No way, So in that scenario, you need volume again, and you need visitation. How do you get that when price is already too high? And we think it's going to be very, very tough, at least until demand grows into that this higher pricing scheme. Okay, so slide 38. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. This is just resort fees and the inverse correlation to visitation. So, on the leisure side. So leisure visitation versus resort. So, surprise, surprise, pricing affects demand.
The word gets out.
Yeah. Yeah. And we did it, I don't know if we're going to touch on this, but we did in first quarter, we noticed that there was just a huge increase in TripAdvisor mentions of resort fees, and they were not happy with them. So we did that big analysis. We didn't repeat it again here other than just look at the trend from there. Yeah. And it's down a little bit, which is good, but it's still very elevated and not the greatest thing.
As slide 39 indicates, we didn't look at this in our last deck, but it was interesting. I've seen the Google Trends search just for Las Vegas resort fee hitting an all-time high, obviously, and still up significantly on a year-over-year basis.